All right, welcome back to another video where I prepare for my new job on the 26th. So for me, that means learning network automation. So I've been working through a book. It is, oops, and I closed my browser. I hadn't brought it up yet. I'm still booting up my lab, but it's in my Kindle Cloud Reader. I've mentioned in multiple past videos that this is kind of a new thing for me. Usually I just have a physical book and a computer, and I kind of have liked that better. But if I can get used to using the Kindle Cloud Reader and get a ton of value out of that, not only do I save a little bit of money by getting the Kindle version instead of the book version, I can also save some time. I don't gotta wait for the book to be shipped to me. It's and then of course the number one so yeah, this is the number one reason I would like not to do that anymore. So this Kindle thing pays off. I love it. Even if I just like it, which I'm liking it now. It's going to be a huge boon to me in my career because I'll be able to learn subjects without having to kind of refer to one, two, or three, or four of these. These are from when I was in networking school, but yeah. So. All right, so let's continue on. Last video we had finished the reading for Arista, so now we just need to put it into action. So I've got an Arista up here. It takes a long time for it to boot up. We'll continue to boot without waiting for full installation. Yeah, okay. Okay, that's nice. So I can have it do full installation in the background while I'm in. The only problem with that is not everything is up yet, so not all of the user accounts are necessarily available. So I have forgotten what the login is, but luckily if I go to configure, I believe then, yeah, so the login is admin. I was trying root. So you can check the notes on the last tab in the configuration section. Oops, so yeah, it's just straight up not up yet, even though I could go in. Oh, okay, here we go. It is, sweet. Okay, so that's good. All right, and then of course it's gonna need a link to our Ubuntu server. Unfortunately, I'm probably running out of links on that now. Yeah, I'll hook it up to Ethernet 1. And then it gets Ethernet 4 here. So let's configure the Ubuntu server with a IP that can be used for the Arista. So that's one thing it looks like the book isn't going to do. It's not going to give you the networking side of the configuration you'll need to hook up to it. But I mean, if it truly is mastering Python networking, that won't be a challenge. Book does have, as I mentioned many times before, three strikes against it, so it should be out, but I'm going to keep going. And then one of those strikes is it's kind of misleading in what it's meant to be. If it were meant to be a mastering book and not a learning for the first time book, it wouldn't have spent the first 20% of content on a brief learning for the first time section that I personally don't think was appropriate for anybody learning for the first time. All right. So ENS 7, I thought it was ENS 6. Let's check that. ENS 4, okay. Oh, right, it's incremented on the, between, yeah. So it looks like it's incremented by 3. Yeah. So this is going to be fine. I forget what my other subnets are, but I think I can pull up a terminal, hopefully. Yeah, and do a if config. And I can do a pipe grep inet. There we go. And now I can see all the subnets that I've got on here. So I'll give it a 10.10.11 for .2 for this one. And then subnet mask, give it a 252. Gateway, I'm not sure if we'll even need one because we're going to have a gateway of last resort. Let's try that. Yep, we've already got the gateway of last resort. And not only that, this is such a simple networking topology. We're just going to have a point-to-point, so we don't even need any of that because we won't be sending traffic off our own network or off a network that's directly connected. We'll be sending it directly across the link, so we won't need to know what device we need to use to route packets to a different network. So let's set up that Arista. I've never used an Arista before, but if it's like any other networking device, we've got the question mark, and we do. Then we're going to have some separate mode where we enter in configuration. So let's do an enable, because we probably won't have that unless we have elevated permissions. Yep, so now you can see we've got a bunch of extra stuff. Oh, including a Python shell directly in there. I like it. So now we've got classic config T. So, yep. Aha, look at this. Config session, enter a configuration session, commands applied only on commit. That is wonderful. So already I'm really liking Arista because it's pretty darn similar to Cisco. It looks like Cisco. Cisco I'm pretty comfortable with on the command line. Funny enough, I might be a little bit more comfortable with Junipers now because I've used them more professionally, and my most recent cert ventures have been in Juniper, but soon just Cisco is my foundation. When I went to networking school, it was a Cisco Networking Academy. So the fact that this looks like Cisco is a big plus for me. But let's see if we can get an IP address on this. So probably going to be like interface. Yep. So here we go, interface. And then it's going to be Ethernet 1. Okay, and now something like IP. Yep, IP address. There we go, 10.10.11.1. And then, so we can add the mask there. Oops. Oh, it's not a routed port, it's a switch port. Now remember, this was a multi-layer switch, so we have options for each port. And one of those options is whether or not we want that port to operate on layer 2 or layer 3. So in Cisco, if you want it to run on layer 2, you've got to configure it to be a switch port. If you want it to run on layer 3, you've got to disable it being a switch port. So hopefully there's something similar here to switch port. Aha, they have the exact same command, switch port. I mean, a lot of these commands are not, they're not going to be copywriting commands. So is it no switch port? Aha, it is. It's just like the Cisco command. Aristas, basically, in my opinion, are just Cisco's, but with better CLIs. You get Python baked in. You get a commit mode, candidate configuration mode, and then if you've been trained in Cisco's as I have, and as a lot of people who have learned networking have, you get a familiar face that you feel really comfortable in. All right, so now we can add the IP address. Oops, it's not a routed port still. Okay, that's interesting. I thought, so that's how you do it in Cisco. You delete the fact that it's a switch port. You don't need any encapsulation if it's a routed port. Let's see what, so yeah, here's where you can configure the characteristics if it is set to a layer 2 switch port, but we want it to be a layer 3 routed port. Maybe router. No, it's going to be, I'm pretty sure the command is just no switch ports. So let's see what happens. Oops, how do I get to the, oh, right, that's a Juniper command. So it's probably, well, it's probably not. Looks like it's just like Cisco. So commit, perfect. So now let's go back into configure session. And then we're going to do interface eth1. And now hopefully we'll take that. Yeah, so it just needed to be committed because it's not like Juniper where it can, in the background, you know, say what you mean. It's only the current state of the port that determines which configuration you apply to it. So even though it's in your candidate config and like, yeah, it's a valid config to disable switch port and put an IP address on it, it's going to be a routed port after you disable switch port. It's not exactly like a Juniper, so you've got to commit that no switch port config first in order for it to actually believe that it is a routed port now. Okay, so everything is going pretty well. Yep, and we were able to ping, so loving these Aristas, so nice. And let's go into the Python shell. Aha. Yeah, and just do an import this. We get the Zen of Python, so lots of interesting kind of food for thought here. Kind of got to take some of it with a grain of salt, but it is, I think, for the most part, a really good way to think about a lot of computer science stuff. Beautiful is better than ugly. Explicit, especially this one, explicit is better than implicit. I really like that one because there's a lot of times where things are just hidden behind the scenes, and the reason you can't learn something is because what you need to learn is locked behind a closed door. So I'd rather explicitly see something out there and you know, have the power to understand it than the reason being I can't understand it because the thing I'm trying to understand is a puzzle with a bunch of missing pieces, and those pieces are either implicit, you know, it's just assumed that I would know that those pieces would be there, or they're even locked away from me. Yep, complex is better than complicated. That's a good one too. Flat better than nested. I think that one's a little bit, you take that with a grain of salt and kind of come up with your own rules. But I find a lot of beginner books show you it in nested, so it's maybe a little bit of a failing on their part, but sparse is better than dense. Yeah, I agree with that one for the most part too. Readability counts. That's a big advantage that that Python has over other languages. It's meant to be read by people, and then the fact that it's read by machines is not, is just a perk. So, all right, I won't read out the whole thing. You can read that on your own. I blew up the Arista. It does not seem to be having a good day because I quit out of the shell the way you would normally if it weren't an Arista device. So I really wish I hadn't done that. I guess I'm going to try to reboot the Arista and try to remember not to do that again. But I don't know if I can guarantee that, because that is a legit normal way you would exit a shell. So I'm just used to entering that into exit a shell. I do that mindlessly. So that's kind of a fatal flaw, I think, that you can't exit a shell in the normal way you would without exploding the device. All right, so Aristas aren't the king of networking gear for me quite yet because of that. But let's keep moving on. We've just got a few pieces of configuration to apply before we can go on. Unfortunately, it did take a while for it to boot up, but we did have that option to shortcut things. So hopefully that will be coming up soon and it won't take all that long. If you don't select that shortcut option, it takes way too much time. New seat 0. Don't know what a seat is. I've never seen that. Root FS, that's a file system. You'll see that in just about anything in the crystal kernel. So everything's looking pretty normal so far. Yeah, really not much to do until it comes up. Can't find initial response starting proc manager. So I'm not sure what kind of initial response I was looking for. Hopefully it's not still an issue with that Python shell. Hopefully a reboot fixes that. So this proc manager, aha, perfect. Oh, nope, the proc manager failed. Bunch of stuff failed. Aha, but here we've got that shortcut. So let's take it. And let's log in with admin. All right, and it's still loading in the background, but we're able to use whatever aspects we're able to use now without waiting for every aspect to be available. At least that's what I take this to mean. Continue to boot without waiting for full initialization. So, oh, and the AAA server is not, it looks like it's set up for TACX by default or something, so it's trying to connect to a AAA server. I'd like to turn that off somehow because we don't have TACX set up on this, so there's no point in trying to get it to work. So let's see here, configure session. Oops. No. Oh, right. Enable, configure session. Okay, and it is still booting up in the background, so maybe there is issues with configure session until it's up. Let's make sure we can ping. So 2 is ourselves, I believe. 1 is across the link. So yeah, destination host unreachable. Okay, but we finally got this going. Oh, you know what? I bet you I didn't save the config. So I'm gonna need to do this again. Interface Ethernet 1, no switch port, commit, configure session, interface Ethernet 1, IP address 10.10.11.1/30, Yeah, so this is something I'm definitely not used to doing on devices since I have a lot of experience with Junipers. It automatically saves the startup config when you do a commit, but here, hopefully it's the same command. Yep, so it's the same command as on a Juniper, sorry, on a Cisco, so really nice and easy. Next time it reboots, we'll still have that IP address. So let's continue on with the book. And they're not using configure session, it looks like, but I'm gonna keep doing that because that's obviously a better way to do it. Oops. Oh. Okay, so we don't have that management. Oh, we do. We do have these commands. Why were they not working before? Okay. Oh, we have them. That's what counts. All right, so now we're good. Let's commit, and let's see what options we have for commit. Aha, look at this. Look at how perfect this is. So commit timer, commit session with a timeout. If not committed within this time, config will be reverted. Just like that commit confirmed in Juniper, we can revert that. Let's do a show active. Aha, so now we can do, well, that's kind of not cool that there's no like show pipe compare or something. Maybe it has to be in a different mode. Aha, show session config. There we go, I found it. So this is all the stuff we are going to configure. Oops, but I don't see the extra stuff we're gonna add. So yeah, still kind of not, oops. Oh, I see. It's on the next line. Okay, here we go. So enabled, yes. Running using port 443. So everything looks great. So as you can see, we have turned off the HTTP server. Yeah, we read this in the last video, so I'll skip over that in the interest of time. So now, yep, we've got our management listed here, perfect. So let's pull it up in GUI. Open up Firefox. Don't need that running anymore. Perfect. We are good to go. Oops, gotta accept the. It said it would use a self-signed certificate. Oh, and it is using a self-signed certificate. It's just not letting me do that without warning me. But let's accept the risk and continue. And look at that. Arista really is kind of winning this fight as far as management features is concerned. I don't know the username and password. Maybe it will tell me somewhere. It looks like it will not. No authentication running HTTPS server. Yeah, I don't see a username and password. We might have to set one up before proceeding. Yeah, unfortunately, there's no yeah, API off. So I don't think we set any API off. So let's go configure. Oops. Session. And then management API. Maybe there's something for authorization. What about OpenConfig? Not sure what that is. HTTP commands. What about management security? Okay. Yes, let's try that. And then let's do password. Oops, this is just setting the types of passwords. So let's do user. Yeah, username. And we'll do API user. And then the, aha, here we go. So the password. Let's do the secret. And it's going to be API user with an exclamation point and commit. There we go. So now it should be good. We might need to refresh. Oh, or just cancel all that and be able to use it. But okay, API user, API user. Yes, so we have successfully authenticated. Yep, you need a username and password in order to access the site. The book didn't say that, but unless it did, it might have. No, it didn't. So let's just continue on. Looks like in their example, they're going to send it a show version command. Yep, so let's do that. Submit post request, perfect. So here's, we got back the version, model name is VEOS. Yep, everything is perfect. Couldn't be better. So we already read this in the last one. I think we read all the way up to the next part. Yeah, to the eAPI examples. So I'll skip over reading this. Let's install this pip install JSON. Might have already done that. But then, yeah. Oops, and I keep doing the wrong key combination. I keep doing P instead of T for some reason. All right, so now we'll need our virtual environment activated, source VNV bin activate, pip install JSON RPC lib. Perfect. Oops, failed. So, oh, no, but it did successfully install. So I'm not sure what that was about, but it looks like it wasn't a game changer. So moving on, eAPI examples. We can then write a simple program called EAPI_1 to look at the response text. All right, so let's do that. Oh, and it looks like, yeah, we're going to be needing to use Python 3, as was said before, or sorry, Python 2, as was said before. We could try Python 3, but I just kind of want to mindlessly follow along at this point. Which is probably a clear sign that I need like a 5-minute break or something if my brain's that fried where I can't really think too hard about what I'm doing. That's probably a problem. But I do want to, of course, get through this book pretty much as fast as I can, because I am running against a hard deadline of that 26, where I don't know if I'll have the same kind of time that I do now. Now I've got a sick time and that sort of stuff where I can spend some extra time on this. But as a contractor, cash only, I will not have any of that. So really good examples of how to navigate through objects, JSON objects, dictionary, Python dictionary objects. You can see this is going to be most likely a list. So the first element of that list is going to be a dictionary where we can reference this key serial number. All right, note that since this is Python 2 in the script, I used the from future import print function to make future migration easier. The SSL related lines are for Python version greater than 2.7.9. I'm not sure if I have that version. So this is the response I received from the previous run commands method. As you can see, the result is a list containing one dictionary item. If we simply need to grab the serial number, we can simply reference the item number and the key. The output will contain only the serial number. Okay, so let's try it. Python 2 EAPI_1.py. For us, our default is Python 3. Let's just try with Python 3. You know, as I've said, it's important to get used to error messages. But yeah, it looks like this library is not available. Yep, and then I've only got Python 3. I don't even have Python 2 installed, but installing that is just a matter of installing that. So I will do that. Well, 5 meg isn't big. 5 megabytes is really small. I do need to be a little bit concerned with how much space I've got because I wanted to get the best price for my server. I didn't want to spend unnecessarily. It's just kind of the guy I am, live below your means, and do enough to, if you're achieving a goal here, you want to ideally get here, but here is going to be fine. If you can make here work, even there is going to be fine. But up here, that's ridiculous. There are people like that will, needlessly spend on things that they're not even going to use to accomplish their goal. So, but that's not me, thankfully. All right, so now we're going to do Python again. So we still got version 3, but hopefully if I do Python 2 now, yep, now we got version 2.7, so good to go. Oops, but we still got a problem with the name of this library here. So there's no module file named that. They didn't have us do a pip install, but we can certainly do that. So let's do a Python 2-m pip install XML RPC lib. Oops. Maybe just a regular pip install, but I think it will install for Python 3 if we do that. Okay. Sudo apt get install pip2. Does that work? Pip. Python 2. Python. Okay. So yeah, we can see we've got a problem here. We can't get the, let's see here. So let me try to run that again with Python 2. There it is. Here's where I tried with Python 3. Let's just try it with just Python. Yep. So XML RPC lib. Oh, here we go. Perfect. Okay, Python. So we installed this library as they told us to do here, but in our environment, that's going to install it for Python 3. We need to use it for Python 2. So we've got to do oh, but yeah, I'm not sure how to specify to install it for Python 2. I mean, I know how to do it like this. But that assumes that I have pip installed for Python 2, which I only have it installed for Python 3. So maybe there's a way that I can specify it for Python 3. Yep, so here's the general options. Nope, it's just for Python 3. There's no way to have it work for Python 2. Okay. So we got to go to Google. So, okay, here we go. So Python 2 get pip .py. Oops, we don't have that, so we're going to need to try something else. Yep, how to install pip for Python 2. Yeah, this is a good call. You can do pip version, kind of have proof that pip is only going to be good for Python 3. I'll need to, yep, Python 3, the version's only good for Python 3.6. So even if I upgrade to 3.7, I'll need to be upgrading pip as well. So here we go. Sudo apt install Python pip 2. Let's try sudo apt. Oops. Let's do it apt get. Let's do update. Perfect. So now hopefully we'll be good to go. Let's try this command before doing this. So Python, oops, 2 setup.py install. Nope, we don't have that, those files. Kind of thought that wouldn't work. Okay, so now we're installing this. If it was just for, yep, and we can even see libpython 2.7, perfect. And then we know if it was the version 3 version, it would say that we already have it, but we can see multiple places it's saying it's for Python version 2. So just wait for that to complete, and then we'll be able to continue on with this book. Probably did work with 3. I don't know. It's no big deal to set up Python 2 still, though. Well, I mean, it kind of is, though, because let's see here. So Control T, Python 2, no, oh, end of life. Yeah, so Python 2 is going to be end of life. So all that means is that if there's a security vulnerability, if there's a system it doesn't work with, if there's a new product coming out, Python 2, the creators behind it, Guido himself, his whole team, aren't going to do anything about it. So if you got an issue with Python, you submit a ticket to them, and they see you're using Python 2, they're just going to say, well, you know what, it's end of life. You got to use Python 3. So if there's a huge security hole, you can hack into YouTube and get everyone's private videos. You can grab their card information. YouTube's like, what the heck is going on? You know, and they didn't update to Python 3. Well, you know, it's not on the Python creators to fix that. It's on YouTube to get their stuff up to date. So yeah, to make new things going forward with Python 2 end of life, bad idea. You just got to use stuff that is here and now and that you can get help with. So as a developer, you probably prefer to adopt Python 3, but for various reasons, corporate policy, lack of resources, legal restrictions, contractual obligations, etc., your organization may be stuck maintaining existing applications on Python 2, or even continuing to develop with Python 2 for the foreseeable future. What can you do? So you can do all sorts of stuff, it looks like. But any new project going forward, what you can do is just get used to using Python 3 or some alternative language such as Go. Go language. I've heard really good things about Go language, and I've heard that a lot of companies are moving towards this. Well, I've only heard that one company is, but I've heard that this was the clear, better option over Python 3. Python 3 just didn't make sense to use. So at least for one major company I know of, you're going to be a lot better off being really good with Go than you are with Python 3 in the future. But but I think it's really good. yeah, it's really good to have a sense of what the top 10 um, uh, uh, programming languages are. Yeah, the best ones to learn in the future. Um, because obviously if you had, yeah, so I think Golang is going to be important to know. But luckily I think it's Pythonic, so that it's meant to be easy to learn. Yeah. Cool. I really like this because it gives you the headaches. Let's see what the headaches are for Python. Oh, Python's not even on here. Or maybe it is. Ah, no, it's not. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, no Python on here. Um, so yeah, no Python at all. Well, that's too bad. I've heard a lot about R too. So R looks good. So yeah, you're probably good to learn R and Go. But Python is great too. So best programming language to learn for the future. Find all sorts of stuff. Um, yeah, so the 9 best to learn 2020, you'll find all kinds of articles like that. So I definitely recommend to learn that, or to always be looking at these sorts of articles, just get a sense of what's out there. Yeah, Python's still going to be a great choice though moving forward, especially for academics. If you go into college nowadays, especially for like a math science thing, and you don't know Python, you might have a harder time than people who do. All right, but let's continue on with this book now that we've got everything. Oh, yep, and where we left off, yep, we just installed pip, so we still got to do this command here, Python 2-m pip install JSON RPC lib. Perfect. Let's take a look at our space. So we've got 120 megs free, unfortunately. So we've already used 1.2 gigs. So yeah, really not a lot of space on this VM. Lots of free swap space, but it's starting to look pretty dire, unfortunately. All right, so let's run the program. EAPI _1.py, and we'll get back to the serial number. Oops. Oh, right. It's not going to be Arista. That's not the right credentials. There you go. Yeah, so here's our credentials. So I think we did API user exclamation point for the password, and then API user for the host name. Serial number, please. Oops. So we've got a 401 unauthorized. I think that's probably to do with the self-signed certificates not being accepted. So let's see if there's a way we can disable that somehow. So ssl.create default HTTPS context. create unverified context. That's, I don't know why we would want that. And the other thing is, I don't know why we would just define. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if it's unverified, it's not going to work, or it's going to say that it's unverified. I don't know why they expected that to work, and I don't even know where they're applying this. SSL.create. Yeah, let's just get rid of the where it's defining it to be unverified, because I mean that's our problem. I don't know why they want to do that. Okay, so here we do need some sort of verification. Let's do a Python 2-I. There we go. So now we're at the Python prompt, and let's explore how to get this to work. So we're going to need to, of course, have an SSL certificate. So let's see what options we have here. So this module provides some more Pythonic support for SSL. So we do want to, here we go. So is there a way we can just accept? So yeah, if there's like a no, yeah, cert optional. Let's set it to this. So cert optional. So SSL.cert optional, is that a thing? SSL.cert optional. There we go. Yeah, we get back a 1. So yeah. Okay, let's do that. Let's do a help on that to see, because if it's just an integer 1, it's obviously not going to help us. Oops. Oh, it is an integer. Okay, so yeah, it just returns the integer 1. So if I do a type on that, yeah, it's not the SSL object has been changed to no longer require SSL. So yeah, we're gonna need to do more than just that. So let's get a help on the SSL._create default HTTPS context. So purpose, shorthand, server authentication, cat file, a data, create a SSL object with default settings. Protocol and settings may change anytime without, okay. So, all right, let's get a help on the other one. So create unverified context. Okay, so we might need, if we can add a key file, that sort of stuff, load that up, that might work. I'd like to just, okay. Yeah, let's do a create default context instead. So I'm gonna do a quit, gonna go here, and then create default HTTP context equals SSL dot create default context, and hopefully this works. Nope, still didn't work. So yeah, I'm not sure what they're expecting this code to do, or how they're expecting that line there to work. Oh, I think I forgot the leading // I think it needs it for this. or the leading underscore, I mean. Aha, there we go. So now we're getting somewhere. So let's do a help SSL. Okay, so all right, and let's pull this up in a browser. It's just a bit much to look at here. Perfect. All right, so let's do, so context. I'm not sure, man. So SSL dot create default HTTPS context. So here we got create default context. Close. Yeah, I don't know what they're getting at here. I mean, if it's unverified, it's obviously going to be an unverified, right? So maybe there's a switch to allow for unverified. So, this is how I connect to it. Let's try to get help on this. Okay. There we go. So I don't know how we can overcome SSL unauthorized. So let's look at that. Python SSL. Yeah, certificate verified failed. So let's try to fix that. So to do that, yeah. How do we do that? Oh, here we go. So this might work. All right, let's try this. Probably won't need this -I anymore. Oops. Oh, yeah, I gotta, of course, set it back to how it was. I wish I knew how to skip to the end of the line. I do not. I should have a Vi cheat sheet up while I'm working, but I do not. I can pull that up. So best Vi cheat sheet. Here we go. So, look at that. Look at how verbose this is. I like this one. So, and, oh, but you can't search it. Yeah, it's not going to work for me. Here we go. I like this really pretty one. Aha, here we go. And concepts rather than commands. I like that. Oops, but it is no longer existing. Let's just skip that for now. Oops, and I've got a. Oh, somebody said you got it. Oh, I see. Okay, that's for my food order. So, okay. Hopefully, it looks like it's. Oh, nope. Still the same thing. So, API user for not authorized. We got a protocol error. So I'm not sure if that's due to SSL, if it's due to, let's try like a SSH API user, 10.10.11.1, API user. Yeah, so it looks like it's working. So that's the right username and password, but it looks like there's a problem with the SSL 401 unauthorized. So let's take this whole thing and put this into Google. Yeah, let's look at some of those logs. Cat var log. Probably won't have that. Yeah, we don't have the same logs he's got, but let's CD in there. Oops, not CE, let's CD in there. Let's see what kind of logs we got. Yeah, let's look at the syslog. Yeah, this isn't going to be useful. Well, how about the XRDP? Oh, I'm wondering if there's a log for like remote calls or something. What's this XRDP log? Yeah, this looks interesting because it's definitely talking about listening on sockets and stuff, which is what we're doing. But I don't see anything for anything specific to what we're doing. It looked like it was for INET 6, all that sort of stuff. Let's look at the auth log. Okay. And then, yeah, we got a lot of logs we can look through. How about the fail log? Nothing in there. What about the, what's a WTMP? It's compiled. Okay, so yeah, unfortunately there's not gonna be anything in there. So let's go back and maybe just try to run that again just so that error message is fresh. Yeah. So protocol error for, okay. And let's add that into our Google search. So here's that same XML RPC lib. So we need the SSL. So we need the we're getting a protocol error. Let's actually look at some of this source code because I think that's going to be the, believe it or not, the simplest way to figure out our issue. Because, you know, as I've touted many times before, the usefulness of these error messages. So I'm going to practice what I preach, take this whole thing, copy, and then put it in a LibreOffice file. Or actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to leave it right there where it is. I'm going to open up a new terminal. Yeah, I'll have it backed up in case something happens to the terminal screen, but it should be fine in the terminal screen. Now I need to figure out how to close this. It's going to be harder than I would have wanted. Oh, okay, here we go. Yeah, don't save. There we go. Perfect. So I'll just open up another terminal screen. And then, yeah, up here, I'll be looking at the code. So let's start with where it's actually had an issue. We can get rid of this terminal screen. There we go. So let's start with this response.message. Well, actually, let's start with EA. So let's go to vi EAPI. Underscore 1.py. And then we'll do set numbers, and we'll skip down. Oh, sorry. We'll do a set number, and then we'll skip down to line 7 where it actually went wrong. So it went wrong here on the run commands. So yeah, before doing anything else, let's quit out of here. Let's go to run this again. And then let's take a look at that run commands help. Oops, so it's not defined. Oh, switch.run commands. There we go. So this is a method in this module. So is there anything we can do to handle a, nope, we can't. Let's take a closer look at this module. We're gonna need to import the module. Okay. not sure what this .add means. We can figure that out. I think it means, so I think if we do a .add1, if we add that to our code, that might work. So it's going to be I and then server.add1. Does that work? No, it won't work. All right, so certificate to verify failed. Oh, it looks like I deleted the solution they had for that appears to not have worked. Yeah, so I gotta add that back in there. All right, so now we're back to where we were in the code. Let's just keep, so let's move down the line. The next file we're gonna look at is here. And we're gonna look at line 288. Oops, we gotta get the other terminal up. Which I didn't realize would be so difficult, but it is. There we go. Oops. It's gonna be truly difficult. There we go. So this is gonna be line 288. All right, so we're looking at, so we got this return. So call cannot use both positional and keyword arguments. So we triggered one of these lines. I guess it's not super important which one we triggered so far. So let's exit out of here and keep going through. Deal with vi being vi. If you don't know how to use it, if you do, then I apologize. And then, yeah. So we're just going to stay within this virtual machine. Now we're going to move on to the next file. And it's going to be line 237. Oh, which is the same file, it appears. I'll just copy it. And you can see it tells you which one it went to. So this is args. So let's go back to this other one, which is more difficult than I had anticipated. There we go. No, let's go to line 288. And yep, so it triggered the line right here. So we'll quit. We'll do a vi on this new file, which is going to be the old file. Now I'll need to look up the line number because I forgot it. It's going to be 237. Oops. There we go. So check for errors. So we're going to do this response, request, version. So we're going to do self.run request. So what did it actually fail on? Failed on self.run request. Let's look at this file. All right, and we're going to look at line 1283. All right, so here we go. Let's make sure we know exactly what we're looking at. So self.singlehost. Single host or single request? I think it was single request. Yeah, I just read this by accident. Okay, so request. So send a complete request and parse the response. Retry request if cached connection has disconnected. So we got some parameters, host, we got the target host, we got the handler, we got the request body, we got the verbose debugging flag, and we got the parsed flag. So so here's the function it's running. See, the problem is that we're getting a server response back. That is 401. And the reason we're getting back that server response is because we're sending it information it doesn't accept. We're sending it a Ssl certificate that is being denied, I think. Either that or we're sending it the wrong username and password. That could be true as well. But I mean, this is our username and password. I don't know why it's having trouble with that. Are we using HTTPS? That could be a problem if we're using HTTP instead of HTTPS. We'll check that. So we are using HTTPS. We are using the correct username and password. Yep, and that's a colon. It's not a semicolon or something like that. So yeah, everything looks good on our end. It's just on the other side, it's sending us back a 401. It's not authenticating us. So I don't know why it's doing that. I'm guessing it's because this SSL isn't being accepted. So because you can see if I open up Firefox and I put in here. So let's do a refresh here on explorer.html. Oh, that could be it, actually. Let's see that. Aha! It's the wrong URL, I think. It's got to be explorer.html. Nope, not allowed. So that's still not the right solution. I didn't think it would be. .401 not authorized. Command dash API. Yep, that looks right. Let's see if we can actually connect to that. We're using like Firefox. So we already have it up, but just try it again in a different tab. We'll just take the full URL that we were using. So it's going to be HTTPS and then all of this. So now we got a 405. So yeah, I think it's the problem is just this command dash API is not valid. So let's try to figure out which one is valid. So we know the, here we go. Oh, okay, so this is the endpoint. So yeah, we can see the API endpoint is there. But for some reason, command dash API, it's just not working. Okay. So this is the API endpoint, but for some reason, it's just not letting us use it. But we saw we were able to log in. Where are we even telling it that we're doing show? Oh, here it is. So switch.run commands show version. So this is where we're giving it a show version. Still got that same unauthorized. Okay, well, I'm really not sure what the issue is, unfortunately. So this is the right API endpoint. Let's try just going there and see what happens. So it's going to be command-API. Oops, so not allowed. So I think very clearly this is our issue. Uh, okay, I'm really not sure what the issue is here. So everything seems to be working. I do think I know what the issue is actually. It's this 405 not allowed. So let's look up that in Google. So it's going to be Arista command API 405 not allowed. So oh, you know what? I think I know what the problem is. So show run. So we've got a username and password created, but we don't have permissions set up for that username and password. So user. Aha, so yeah, we don't have a role for that user. So, or a privilege level. So let's give it full privilege 15. And yeah, even that might really help. And then let's give it a secret again, API user. Okay, and then let's even go into management API, P commands, or let's go to management API, or sorry, management API. And let's do security. We'll do SSL profile testing. then certificates. Or how about trust certificates? Oh, we've got to give it a name to trust though. But what? Okay, maybe that'll work. Yeah, I don't have a key. Well, oops, and there's someone at my door at 9:50, which is very strange. I don't want to answer my door because of social distancing, but I'm going to go and. All right, not sure what that was about. There's no one out there, so somebody just loading up a truck or something overheard and mistook it for something for someone being at my door, but no one was. So I'm going to keep looking into this issue. We can see what the problem is, that we've got a 405 not allowed whenever I try to log into this URL. So let's see if on the regular user interface where I can log into, it gives me some more information about how I can possibly make that work. So we've got all of the documentation here. I'm hoping that maybe because it's version 1, but let's look at the command documentation. And search for 405 maybe. Do you get anything for that? No, that's searching for commands. So we don't want to learn about commands. We want to learn about why we're getting a unauthorized yeah, so unfortunately it's really not going to be what we're looking for here. Yeah, connection is not secure. So I'm thinking maybe there's some issue. I don't know what OpenConfig is. I'm going to enable it. I guess not. So so yeah, I guess I need an SSL profile, and I need to set it up to be self-signed. I thought I made one named test. So let's commit that and then take a look at the show run. All right, hopefully that works now. Let's try it again, and hopefully the issue goes away. Let's try going back to that page here. So it's going to be command-API. Aha! So now we've got some really good well, we've got something different, so maybe we're in better territory now. But I am just absolutely lost right now. I do not know why this is not working. But we do have a different error now. Socket error. Yeah, I'm not sure why there's a socket error. I'll try changing the IP, or sorry, changing the authentication parameters here. Oops, we still got a socket error. So yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. I might have to just move on from this, unfortunately. There's a lot more of the book to get through. It's not allowing me to work. It's just, yeah, why am I not able to do this? Yeah, why does this not work for me? That doesn't work for me. God damn it. I did exactly what they told me to do. I did that. Oh, and you gotta log in order. I mean, I do have an account though. I think I might need to take a break. This video has been going pretty long. Sometimes I find if you just take a break, it's easier to get through an issue. So I think I'm gonna do that. This looks really promising. I think we'll probably get through the issue just by configuring this. Let's see here. So yeah, I think I'm going to, I don't know why this terminal is now going crazy. Oh, okay, there we go. Oh, because it was off the screen. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna cat out the script one more time here. And now I've got, let's see here. So I'm not even using the PyE API yet. I'm just using the JSON RPC lib. So okay, here we go. Disable default. Perfect, perfect, perfect. This is exactly what I want. So server problem. Yeah, this is exactly what the problem is. Okay, so I can do. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, this is what they told me to do. You can see I've got it right there. SSL.create default HTTPS context equals SSL.create unverified context, but obviously that hasn't been working. So yeah, let's just try that. Let's just try including it in the call there. All right, so everything is going decent. We're just going to need to add a second argument to this, and it's going to be context equals SSL dot underscore create underscore unverified underscore context. Oops. Oh, unexpected keyword arguments. Okay, so I guess I can't really do that. Right, and that's because that belongs to server proxy. So I could probably do this. Let's see here. What is that server proxy? Do I have that? No, I looks like I don't have it. Yeah. So let's see here. This context isn't going to work. That's not a part of it. Oh, right, and it's on the wrong line. But now I can't go to the end of it. Oh yeah, I can. Okay, perfect. Okay, so this I think is okay. Let me try. So we've got SSL imported. So let me try what they have here. And maybe in this run commands is where I have it. No, it's gonna be there. Yeah, you definitely have to include context there. So they definitely want you to do that. So proxy server, yeah, I unfortunately do not have proxy server. But maybe I can try transport none, encoding none, allow none, that sort of thing. So let's do a WQ and then a Python 2 -I. Perfect. And then we'll do a dir, see what we've got. Oops. Okay, we've got this switch. Let's take a look at that. Do a help on it. Okay, so switch is server proxy. So we can do all of this stuff on switch. Aha, perfect. So now here this switch dot run commands. Okay, so everything they want us to do here, we can do on switch, I think. Let's so we'll do um, let's try it here. So yeah, perfect. So transport equals none, encoding equals none, verbose equals 0, allow none equals 0, use date time equals 0. Hopefully that works. Nope. So it doesn't allow you to use those. What if I just use transport equals none? And then don't use the other ones. Oh, then it still doesn't work. Well, yeah, I think I need a break. I don't know what the issue is. It's looks like something a lot of people have dealt with before, but they've dealt with it in different ways. Oh, this looks really good. This one looks good. So, but if, you know, he's saying explicitly in his post, I think one way could be, but obviously what you think is not the truth in this case. And a big difference too, you can see they're using XML RPC lib, but I'm using JSON RPC lib. So this isn't even relevant to what I'm working on necessarily. Of course, I don't have all of those switches available, the verbose, 0 context, that sort of thing. So I'm gonna run it one more time here. And I'm gonna do a help on JSON RPC lib. Oops, but I've got to import it because I only imported one section of it. So, okay, so here's all the stuff we've got. Aha, so this config, that might be helpful. Yeah, so perfect. So we can use this, I bet. Yes, so we can do user agent, we can do, let's see here, instance. Okay. Classes, ignore attributes. So maybe ignore attributes. Let's see here. JSON RPC lib config. Oh, I see. I think I know what the problem is. Yeah, it's because it's set to version 1. Yeah. So let's do this. Let's do JSON RPC lib.config.version. Yeah, and you see we got version 2.0. So let's do this. Let's open up Firefox, go back, and see if we can set this to version 2. And if there's a way to save that or just have it be configured in version 2. But yeah, now let's try it again now that it looks like it might be set to version 2. Nope, still no luck. Let's see if any of the extra things I added are gonna mess it up. Oh, we've got that transport equals none flag. That was accepted. It works well with that. Yeah, I need a break. I've been going on this for too long. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.